My heart is beating quite fast.
Okay, I'm ready.
Then we start breathing 1 in and out.
You go up a little bit by little bit. A little bit more pain.
Okay.
I'm about to hang from my skin. Okay. All right, so I'm Claudia. I'm 26. Nope, that's wrong. I'm 25. I live in Berlin. Last year, I made a student film about hook suspension.
Oh my God.
It left me wondering why I'm so drawn to it. Is it pain? Is it pleasure? Is it the spiritual side I never knew I had? I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm on a mission to get under the skin of this world and find answers to my obsession. So in 14 days, I'm going to be suspended by my skin. I'm an impulsive person, for sure. I don't really take the time to think about what I'm doing before I do it. I sort of went down a little wormhole and found suspension. I saw the first pictures of it and I thought, what the hell is this? Like, I'd never seen anything like it before. Hook suspension, in its simplest terms, is getting pierced somewhere in your body with a hook and being suspended in the air by your own skin. Sounds brutal, right? The person I'm trusting with my suspension would argue it's the opposite. Meet Eugenia. The suspension community is definitely based a lot on trust. I definitely trust her the most. Hello! Hello! What for you makes suspension spiritual?
Going through the whole experience helped me reach a point where my mind, spirit and body, everything is aligned. It makes me face my fear every time. I'm still agitated and worried before I do suspension. The most common question is why? Why would you do that to yourself? Something like suspension, look to see a picture of someone you love hanging from hooks. It looks brutal. In the beginning, for me, it was very difficult to explain this to my family, especially to my mom. She thought I was anyway seeking for the pain, to feel the pain, or I was just hurting myself somehow. And I was explaining her that for me this is actually the opposite. It's an act of self-love. You go through a part of pain with an intention to connect, to heal. Suspension comes from the Tamil Indians. This is a very old practice and it was used in a religious context as an offering to the gods. For the Native Americans, they had different approaches to it. There was one that is maybe famous or known, which is the sun dance, which is like a pulling from shallow pierced hooks through the chest.
Just to go through that process of like the ritual aspect is going to be part of like my intention. It would be really interesting to see if I freak out or if I don't do it. And I'm not going to hate on myself if I don't go through with it. I definitely trust you a lot and I would love you to be part of my suspension and suspend me.
Thank you. I would be honored to do that.
There's something about the way that Eugenia does suspension and brings spirituality into it that's like really drawn me in. I live quite a chaotic life, which is probably my own fault. I don't know, maybe a bit of peace, quiet, reflection, and that's definitely becoming a big part of suspension for me. It's easy to take one look at suspension and write it off as a hobby for masochistic, kinky deviants. Before I started filming, Eugenia was very clear with me about the fact that she didn't want to be part of a film that was talking about or that featured BDSM and suspension together, just because it might mislabel like what her practices are. So what I'm about to do is a huge risk. I'm about to have a call with 2 BDSM suspension artists. It's really stressing me out and I haven't really been able to focus all day. Like my stomach is churning, I'm just nervous, just because I know what it means to have this in the film. I don't want to upset anybody in the community, but I know I need to like explore and like probably actually just confront this stereotype. Hello everyone. Nice to meet you properly. I've actually never met anybody who is like from the sort of kink scene doing suspension in this way. So can you please tell me what you do?
I kind of live 360 in the BDSM community. The only exposure I get to normal people is my job. I'm usually the out kinky gay man who's like, hey, I got this club you should come to. And I show them pictures of him in rope or on hooks. Like, this is what we do. So Suspend DC is a suspension community in the kinky community who want to support and help other people discover suspensions in a ritual and playful set space.
Can you explain some of the ways that you actually use suspension within like kink play parties?
It really runs the gamut from just two friends having a goofy, silly Tuesday afternoon to the height of spiritual, sexual, sadomasochistic ecstasy. And it's whatever you make of it.
What's the connection for suspension and BDSM for you?
For me, there isn't a separation. The latex and the leather outfits, the whips and the chains, that's all window dressings. That's all games. That's what it might look like from 20 feet away. That's not what it's about.
So I've always looked at BDSM play as just another extension of my spiritual play. I have to have a connection with someone. I don't really do pickup play where I meet somebody and just do something to them.
For me, a lot of it has been learning to trust in myself, in my body, and kind of surrendering to that experience.
That for me is something really special, and you are pushed into this space where you're vulnerable.
That physical and emotional intimacy. In the vanilla world, we hear that in terms of sex, if at all, and we can finally break out of that paradigm of, that sexual intercourse is the only way to have that physical, emotional intimacy and vulnerability.
I know I said it was a risk to have this talk, but after understanding more about Willow and Whitney and how they come at suspension from a spiritual side, I'm now less worried about how this will impact my relationship with the community and Eugenia.
The call last night was definitely unexpected. I related to a lot of what they said. I think actually I broke a lot of the stereotypes that I had in my own head about BDSM. They use suspension in a way to form connections and trust within each other and within these bonds, which is something I can relate to. Coming from London to Berlin, I've loved immersing myself in spaces where you can be kinky, freaky, playful. And one of my favorite freak show nights is my friend Mona's. I've invited myself over for a chat before her show tonight.
You see this?
Yeah.
It's like a nail. It's like a real nail. You know?
This is the No way! Ding 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 ding. Woo!
Freak show, bitch. Salty.
Mona's performances are definitely out there, but she's not afraid of being labelled as a freak. In fact, she embraces it, and that fascinates me. What was the process of you deciding what you were going to do in these shows?
I really enjoy needles a lot because it gives you like a high. It's a way to connect with my body in quite a up way.
What about the audience? What do you think they get from the show?
There's either people that are fully freaked out by it, vomit, pass out, run away. There's the full worship reaction of people emailing oh hi, can I do you want to put a needle in my body right now? Do you want to staple me right now? And I'm who are you?
People have a judgment about it,
About
the
what?
freak show side.
There's people that are don't you think you are validating the cliche of queer people being freaks through doing this? And I was yes, that is the actual goal, get into it. And they were oh.
Right, I'll let you get ready.
Come to pin the needle, bitch!
Back on deck.
I love how open Mona is about herself. She's like, in your face, freak show for the whole world to see. It has been playing on my mind a little bit recently because I'm gonna have an audience all of my own. That's you. And word will definitely reach home about my antics once the film is out. So my family has no idea that in 3 days' time, I'm gonna be pierced in my skin and then hoisted from the rafters. But I've booked a ticket back to England to visit my very lovely, very vanilla sister, and I'm gonna let her know. So wish me luck.
So what have you been getting up to then?
So I think it's probably better if I show you.
It's not porn.
It's not porn. I guess a little disclaimer is like, I kind of said that it's in the realm of like, let's say body modification.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's insane. Why would you do something like that? I mean, it's extraordinary.
But this is kind of like what I need to figure out as well, is like why I'm attracted to what's the context that I do it in, you know?
You are an exhibitionist, extrovert kind of character, but you're not doing it to perform to anyone else, it's just for you.
Yeah, it's just for me.
What do they pierce you with? Great needle.
My sister just landed on something you just can't avoid about suspension. It's painful.
So, the last big hurdle that I'm really gonna have to deal with is the pain and the fear of that pain. So I'm gonna go talk to Ennio Flint, who literally wrote the book on pain.
And you want to talk about pain, or?
Yeah, I want to talk about pain.
Okay, I have 2 acts, the dark acts. Also it's a dark music, and it's really go with a scalpel and cut my body, put eye hooks in my eyes, just put mouse traps in my face, and the people, oh my God, nah, do that, and I'm smiling and woo. What I want to make it like funny way to shock people and show them this is pain. What I can handle it. In our society, we don't accept pain because pain is bad.
Yeah.
But why we have pain, it's also really a signal from your body.
The biggest obstacle for me in a suspension, it's my mind.
Yeah.
It's the thing in my brain telling me, no, you can't do this, get out.
A suspension for me was really a kick to fly. When I was flying, I was really like, woo! I feel like I'm so good, I'm so happy.
Do you think you have any advice for pain of me going into the suspension?
Accept the pain, accept it because it's there. It's a feeling, accept it.
The day has finally arrived.
It's suspension day.
It's great to be back with Eugenia. I'm ready to put all my trust into her. I'm ready to fly. Okay, so rigging started, like everything's going up, it's all happening. I'm feeling like a little bit more nervous now. Like I feel a little more like sickness butterfly feeling just because it's like happening. I might not do it. I might panic and freak out. So I hope I do it. That's what I really hope. I hope I get up in the air. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. In the ritual, it's really, I guess, heightening like your senses and trying to quieten your mind. You ready? Okay.
It could be a little bit higher.
As Eugenia massages my back, I'm coming to terms with the fact I will be hanging by my skin.
Okay, I'm ready. Then we start breathing 1 in and out. Out. That was it. In, out. That was it. I'm just gonna connect the shackles so shaking.
Okay.
Whenever you feel, I think we can start.
I can smell the incense around. My heart is beating quite fast.
Try to leave your shoulder relaxed. Okay?
Yeah.
Your skin is holding you.
It's a little bit of burning, but it's okay. Just letting it like wash over me. Sometimes like a shiver that just goes through. As I'm lifting off the ground, there's excitement, there's anticipation. You're really, really nearly close, and you just have to release that one last bit. It's the hardest thing to do, is to be on your tippy toes. Little bit by little bit, a little bit more pain. I'm about to hang from my skin. Yeah, I want to push, please. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo! I wish I was more graceful. That's the only thing. I'm in the air. Woo! We made it. I've learnt to accept pain and to embrace the freak within. Right now, I feel invincible. An hour? No, definitely. I feel pretty tired, actually. Oh, weird. Oh. It's kind of like stepping off a boat after being at sea for like a week, and you're kind of getting your sea legs, you know? Or my earth legs. It's kind of weird that it's done now. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
So it's the day after the suspension, and I cannot describe how much pain I'm in. My whole neck and like my back is just in agony. Feels like muscle pain. Ow, ow. Oh, it really, really hurts. I got into suspension pretty impulsively, but I've learned that it's not just a trick, it's not a gimmick, it's not something that is just even like a one-time experience. I've genuinely really formed like good connections with lots of communities over this whole process. I've learned a lot about what my body can do, how far I can push myself, and I've been like reflective. And that's something pretty rare for me.